Okay, it's been a couple of weeks, but we are back. My original plan for working on the Springer, there it is, did get paused because we got a better project, something I couldn't find anywhere online or out in the YouTubeverse or whatever. But my buddy's over, he's got a 22 Lowrider S, and we're going to be throwing on new fender and some new bags. But it's not from Advan, it's not from Harley, it's actually from a company called NastyHog. And I'll tell you, let's kind of show you guys the fender here. It looks good. I mean, this is right on par with Advan stuff. However, you notice the brake lights are kind of Frenched in here or recessed, and they're integrated, which I like. And then there's got a license plate cover that's going to come over here somehow, but haven't figured that out because there is no directions. Not online, not in the box, nothing. So this one's going to be fun. But the bags, we haven't pulled those out yet, but when we do, I'll show them to you. That's going to be fun to figure out too. So we're going to kind of get this rolling a little quicker than usual. So we're going to start by popping the seat off and gaining access, pulling these spools out, popping these two, probably T40s. And we're just going to take this whole unit off at once, set it on the workbench, and start stripping out all of our fender struts and supports because these blinkers are going away. And we do have a harness that came with it, so hopefully we can just leave the harness in the fender and kind of go from there, keep it as simple as possible. So let me grab some tools and start hacking away. When I've got a better idea of what's going on and what we're getting into, you'll know. Hold up. All right, so seats off. And it was in fact a T45 for T45s to get those out. Now we've got a 5/8 here to pull the spools, that same T45 underneath to get, see if I can't do this here without messing up the fender. Okay. Bear with me here, technical difficulties. There we go. To get that, so we got T45 there, one above. That plate will stay put when we pull these out. So, because we're, like I said, we're saving these struts and the metal support plate underneath. But everything else back here, these lights, we're not going to reuse those. So, let me get cracking. So far, so good. No problems, but saying that, I probably just screwed myself over. So, the adventure continues. Okay, old fender stripped, new fender's getting set up. We did need to snag our 3 plugs off the old fender and your seat nut. Now this plastic retainer just pops off the old one, but so that way the retainer can just fall out. However, note that this is a very snug fit into this ABS. We did get the plastic washer on it, the retainer washer, but I don't think that's really doing us any good, but I don't think it's doing us any harm either. So we're just gonna let it ride, but that's real tight. So I think if nothing else, pressure's gonna hold it in. So now we're gonna get our plates in. Remember, they go in, this is the back, this is the front, so we got a smaller gap. And then this just drops, right, so you can see here, there we go, just drops right in, and then we can fit up our strut. So let me get this fastened up. When I think it was, yeah, it was a T27 bolt here that held all this together, or at least the ones on the inside of the fender. So I'm gonna keep on keeping on. Okay, more progress. So the kit did come with these spools that he ordered because he still runs his sissy bar and backrest. It also work with luggage racks and whatnot. So here's where your bags will click, and then this is where your sissy bar or beer rack or whatever will click too. So here's our new wiring harness. Clicks in to the lights that were pre-installed. We'll wipe this down with some alcohol and kind of stick that, then chase the wires through the hole. But there's no pre-drilled holes for where the license plate's gonna go. We got spade connectors, so that way we can connect our license plates around that also has LEDs. So now we just gotta pick where we want this to go and drill holes in expensive new parts. That's always fun. So, but everything is Loctited and cinched down nice and tight. Nothing's going anywhere. We got our T30s, something like that. Yeah, I think they're T30s back in here. So everything is tight. It's looking good. It's come together great and easy. Just not thrilled that we have to drill into plastic. I'm sure everybody else is fine with it, but God, that makes me super nervous. So we're gonna play around with some options here about how we want that in there and kind of go from there, and I'll show you guys what we did and how badly I screwed it up. All right, license plate is officially on. Fun fact, much like Advan, these guys do little dimples in the ABS to kind of mark where you're gonna drill. So got those drilled out, and I started small, work your way up so that way, you know, you're not going any bigger than you absolutely have to. I did go a little bigger on here just to get the wires through, and it looks tight, but I don't think that's gonna cause any problems. So got the spade connectors attached, got our wiring harness attached, wiped everything down with alcohol, stuck it. It's some decent 3M tape, so I'll give them that. Run it through, and I think we're ready to go and put this on the bike. So I tell you what, that license plate, that's the task, because unlike custom dynamics, you have to cut your I already chucked it all. You have to chuck or trim your entire license plate to get it to fit. Man, we took a good, you know, ½ inch off of each side on that license plate just to make it work. And I think it's just so they could get it in between the lights, because you know you're only got so much room here. So I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna get this back on the bike and show you guys what it looks like. All right, so we got the low side on. You'll pull your bolts on the side here that we took out originally, then put back in and take back out, because you know that's how I do. You know, redo work. Why not? So, and then you pull your passenger pegs off. So, fun fact, it comes with a bolt, but if you want to keep your rear set, you need to reuse the bolt that came out of there. And I believe that was a 5/16 bolt. No, that was a T45 to get that out, run it back in, and then we got 5/16 up here. So everything's Loctited, everything, nothing's going anywhere, and we still get, you know, rear pegs for a passenger. So we're gonna hold off on the sliders for the moment. We'll get the bags on. We'll go ahead and get the other crash bar on too, because that'll probably be handy. And then we're just about done. So just take your time. Remember, this rear set has a ball bearing attached to a spring, and if you're not paying attention, you'll never find it again. It's kind of like those brass ferrules up in your clutch and brake levers. They grow wings and they go hide themselves with all your 10 millimeters. So that was actually really, really simple, and it's coming up pretty clean. So I'm gonna set you guys down. We'll get the other side on and likely get the bags on, and because the bags should be pretty simple. If they're not, I'll let you know. Hold up. All right, so we ran into the first problem here, and actually the only problem. The brackets that go from the bags down to the bike that are supposed to, you know, the fork sits over a little disc so they can be quick on, quick off. They land in the middle of nowhere. So let me see if I can show you what we're dealing with here. So see if that's coming through, if I need to get a light. So yeah, let's get a light. All right. So you'll see, yeah, there's the bar coming down in the middle of nowhere. So let's see if I can pull on that. Yeah, nowhere. In theory, that should be bolting into that hole there, which is where the stock exhaust used to be, or somewhere up here. I don't know exactly, but obviously that ain't right. So, and it's the same problem on the other side. So I'm out of hardware, there's no directions, and let's see, where is it? Yeah, there's the fork landing middle of nowhere. So the best I can tell is that plug, we pop out, pop the disc in there, and then if this fork were longer, it'd sit in there. So yeah, we got a problem. Aside from that, I mean, the bags look great. The fit up top is good. You know, they are solid with their locking mechanism. And you pull out and twist. Everything looks great. You know, especially, you know, the little non-reflector reflectors that you get to put in there. So basically now what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to NastyHogs and see how they screwed up. I know they screwed up. He knows they screwed up. Now I got to convince them they screwed up and figure out how they're going to fix it. So I will check back with you guys. I'll finish this video up after I've heard from them and see how they're going to situate the problem. I think maybe they just sent us the wrong brackets to go from the bags to the frame. We'll see. But I will keep you guys in the loop, how things pan out, good, bad, or otherwise. So sit tight, and I'll see you guys in a few days, and it'll just be real quick for you. So sit tight, bear with me. Okay, so it's been about a week, and I did reach out to NastyHog. I found their email address on their website, and he did get back to me, whoever him is, got back to me really quick. I mean, a matter of hours. I explained the situation, and he goes, "Hey, not a problem. You know, I'll get you the hardware that you don't have." And apparently it's because the bike that we're working on, it's a lowrider S, not an ST. So if this were an ST, the hardware that I needed, we would have already had. We would have been reusing it. But since the S's don't already come with bags, they don't send the hardware. I get it on one hand, but on the other, I feel like there should be somewhere on the website for you to indicate if you have an S or an ST, so that way they know whether or not to send the appropriate hardware so you can, you know, secure the bags to the frame. But that's neither here nor there. I'm happy that he got back to me, because I was reading some really mixed reviews online. So either people are unnecessarily picky, or dude really did kind of ghost him, and maybe I got lucky. I don't know, but at the end of the day, he didn't leave me hanging, and he dropped the stuff out to me. I had it in actually less than a week, because today's Monday, and I got a hold of him Tuesday. So, and then it came up out of California, so all the more better. So let me show you what we got, and then hopefully we can figure out how to do this, because yet again, no directions. But I got hardware. I've got these. These are what I knew I needed, because this is going to bolt to the frame, and then the fork of the bracket is going to sit like that and hold on to the bags. Don't know what these are for. I know this goes on one of the two sides, so that way it can kind of extend from the bolt location to the fork. So I'm going to figure out what is going on here, because like I said, I really don't have a clue, you know, but I'll figure it out, and I'll let you guys know, so you won't have to do what I'm about to do. So sit tight while I call this everything but a Harley. So take 3 on the project here. So what I did get, now mind you, let me pause. Today now is a week later for me, because the spools that we got in were great for the low side of the bike. And for any of you who have dealt with the lowrider S's or the STs, you're all probably sitting back on, is he going to notice? Is he going to notice? I bet you this dumbass doesn't notice. This dumbass didn't notice. So the problem that I ran into is the owner of the bike switched from the stock exhaust, that 2 into 2, to a 2 into 1. Well, in that process, there's a bracket that mounts to the frame along the swing arm that supports, at least on the STs, that the saddlebag support runs down to and connects to the spool. That doesn't exist on this bike anymore. So we had 2 options. One, it was free. Put that old exhaust bracket back on the bike and say screw it and live with an ugly part. Or the part that he did do, we get a bracket and we can move forward with life. So I did go up to Thrashin's website and ordered the bracket, and I'll show it to you in a sec, that should allow us to mount to the frame, extend back, mount the spool, and then support the saddlebag. So let me show you what we got here. So
is this bracket. It's nice, thick, heavy duty steel with a good powder coat to it. Bolt that we're gonna have to thread lock, but let's see here. That's not gonna want to focus, I bet. It's not. It's thrashing part TSC-2910, and I'll put a link to this in the description. It was 40 bucks, and got that up here so we can hopefully take this bracket, come over to the bike here, and mount in here somewhere. Haven't quite figured out where yet. And then support that rail. So let me figure out what size that bolt is, where I'm going to bolt it to. I actually think, just set that down. I think I'm going to bolt it right down here. See if I can't get you a better angle here. There we go. I think I'm going to bolt it right there. That's kind of what makes sense. And that would kind of go up there like this. So let me confirm my idiocy, see if that works, and I'll let you guys know. All right, so that bracket did in fact work, and we did mount it up right there with a 5/16 Allen. Now you can probably pull the bolts to support your muffler, or pull the muffler or whatnot, because you really have no room here. So I just grabbed a pair of channel locks and just kind of walked that bolt in with it Loctited, mind you, and got it nice and snug. Bolted on the bushing or the disc or the spool or whatever you want to call it, also Loctited, and then set the bag in before we tightened everything up, so that way I knew the spool bracket arm here was in the right angle to catch our arm. And it's good, it's solid. There's no flex, no wiggle, and it's good. That being said, I've got to figure something out here, because when I push on this bottom corner, if you can hear that, it's making noise, it's got some wiggle. So I got to see if I've got something around the garage here to shim that spacer to try to push this out, because I've adjusted the angle of the spool down here 6 ways to Sunday, and I cannot take that out. If anything, I would need to shim the bracket away from the bike, which is doable. Might be a route that I go, because I've got plenty of bolt. I just don't know what I've got for spacers for washers. So let me root around, see what I can come up with, because I'd rather shim it down here instead of up here. So let me root around, see what I got, and I'll let you know what I find. All right, victory is mine. I win. So I started out by stacking 4, 5, 6 washers until I got the bracket on the low side out far enough to where it straightened up that bag, tightened everything up, and took that rattle out. I don't know why it took that many. I've never worked on or been up close and personal with an ST. Maybe there's a spacer that I don't have, didn't get, I'm not sure, but in this moment, I can't fault NastyHog for this. I can't fault the owner. It's just probably one of those things when you're trying to convert your S to an ST, or at least put hard bags on the S that didn't come with it. There's things missing. So no fault to the owner, no fault to NastyHog, just a little bit of garage ingenuity. So I didn't like the idea of having the 4, 5, 6 washers stacked up there. So what I did is I grabbed one of these that came with the kit that NastyHog sent. They sent a whole bunch of them. And the height of this measures about 7/8 of an inch, which ironically was about the distance that I was at with all my washers. So instead of having a grip of washers that could get lost the next time it gets pulled off, I just yoinked them out of there, put some Loctite on the bolt, and then slid that spacer, which is not meant to go there. So if it fits and it does its job, that's where it belongs. So I'll kind of show you what we got going on, but in the end, I did have to space that bracket out 7/8 of an inch, give or take, So let's see if I can't get you in here real quick. Oh, long way down for a fat guy. Okay, so there we are. If that's coming through, that's the spacer that I put on between the bracket and the frame of the bike. And it pulled it out, like I said, 7/8 of an inch. And now we're snug. So that I can live with. That I think the owner can live with. You can't even tell from back here that it's spaced out. So I'm going to count that as a win. And I'm sure he will too. So everything's Loctited. Nothing should be going anywhere. Hopefully. So anyway, final thoughts on the NastyHog setup here. And I'll put a link down below to this whole kit here. And I know he got it on sale for Black Friday, but the quality of the ABS, it's there. I like it. It's solid, both on the bags and on the fender. If anything, it's probably a thicker ABS than what I've dealt with previous, say with Advan. Paint, spot on. I mean, it's black, but the orange peel was, almost non-existent, if not non-existent. The way the tail lights fit in, all of that was good. The fit and the finish, 80% good. And that's only because of the little fighting that I had to do with the low side bag. Because the high side fit great. No rattle, no wiggle. Price, you'll see it. But I think it was a little bit up there for a product that came with 0 instructions. Paper, QR code, website, YouTube, nothing. So if you're not semi-mechanically inclined, this kit might not be for you. I would have appreciated some sort of direction. A negative would be that he plugged in his year, make, and model, and everything got sent out as if this were already an ST, and it's not. So I had to email him, and I don't remember his name, and he did get right back to me. So kudos for that, because all the reviews I was seeing were saying otherwise. Dropped the hardware that I needed in the mail. Showed up about just less than a week later, and I was able to get the low side bag mounted up securely. So it would have been nice had it come with the bracket for the high side, but I understand why it didn't. So again, not going to fault NastyHog for that. The crash bars for the bags, they look good. They went on well. They feel good. And I appreciate the Dell wrench sliders at the end. And I believe you can go to their website and buy more should the need arise. Overall though, okay, switch hands here. Overall, would I recommend this kit? With the other options out there, Advan Black and Hogworks, and I'm sure there's others, just those are the two that come to my mind. I would probably lean more that direction just because of the directions and everything kind of gets dialed into your needs for your bike. I'm not going to knock their product because it's bad. It does seem to be a quality product. The customer service was on point. Honestly, my biggest gripe was directions. And actually, I will show you one other thing I did discover. So let's head back over to the bike here. And you'll see with this, we open it up. It's the same mechanism that the ST bags have, but when you pull it out and twist it, on the back side of the bag, which I'm not really going to be able to show you, under this lever is a nubbin, for lack of a better term, that pivots down and then back up, depending if you're locking or unlocking. Well, between that nubbin and the bag itself, they did put a clear piece of protectant plastic on there. Just opening or locking and unlocking this thing maybe a dozen times, trying to do the install, that plastic is already wearing through, which means that nubbin is going to be rubbing on the clear and the paint. Not that you're ever going to see it, but it's just one of those little things that's kind of a fit and finish thing for me. I don't like that it rubs. So it rubs me the wrong way because it rubs. So keep that in mind if you are looking at the NastyHog setup. I think some things could be better. I think a lot of things were spot on, but is it money well spent? that's up to the owner to decide. For me, I would lean towards Advan because we know me and my thoughts on Advan, or Hogworks, because they also seem like a quality product, although I have no personal experience with their products. So that's my 2 cents. Take it for what it's worth, probably less than 2 cents. But this has taken me about 2 weeks because of missing hardware from NastyHog and missing hardware because we have aftermarket pipes. But it's done. Gonna wrap this up. We got another product coming in for the Street Glide, and we're gonna keep trucking along and eventually get back to the Springer because I have something I've been sitting on for a couple of months and I've just been lazy and now it's freaking cold. So all the links will be down in the description. You know, questions, comments, concerns, reach out. I get back to everybody. I don't think I've ever missed anyone. If I have, it's because I haven't seen your comment because it got flagged. I don't know. But you know, I love yakking with you guys. So let's keep this ball rolling. And if you would, you know, like and subscribe. I super appreciate it. And I appreciate every one of you that already has. So that's all I've got. And we'll catch you guys next time. Later.